I welcome you to another English language class. Again, my name is Jacob Ado. Remember, we have been talking about punctuation. The punctuation mark we will be discussing today is the apostrophe. The apostrophe is equally a very important punctuation mark. How do we use the apostrophe? Of course, there are several ways. The most popular use of the apostrophe is to show possession. The apostrophe is generally used to show possession. It goes with the letter S whenever it is used. Mainly it comes before the S. In some instances, the apostrophe is used without the S. The major problem about its usage is when and how to use it. We will be discussing more and more of that. Let us note that only nouns are capable of ownership. A verb, an adjective, an adverb cannot possess something. Therefore, whenever a statement is suggesting possession, the possessor must be a noun. And of course, pronouns too, since nouns and pronouns are basically belonging to the same structure. Possession with a singular noun. Let us look at this. You add an apostrophe and the letter S at the end of a singular noun. Nouns that refer to one item. When you want to show possession, that is, the noun possesses something. I hope you understand that. We're talking about possession with a singular noun. And you have to understand what a singular noun is. That is, talking about something that is one, that is singular. Let us look at the following examples. The woman's husband is kind. Woman refers to just one person, so that is a singular noun. The woman's husband is kind. Mr. Hassan's building is almost completed. Now, Mr. Hassan is just one person. So that is why you put the apostrophe and the S. My company's name has changed. My company's name. Now, the companies here is not in the plural form. It is the singular form of the word. My company. Now, my company's name has changed. That is, the possession is attached to company. Plural regular nouns. Let us look at this. We've just talked about singular nouns. Now we're talking about plural regular nouns. Regular nouns are those nouns that form their plural forms by the addition of S. For instance, you have book, singular, books, plural, dog, dogs, and so on. To indicate plural possession, put an apostrophe after the S that marks plurality. For example, you have guys night out. Guys is the plural of guy. Okay, guys. Now the S there is not the possession S. The S there is a marker of plurality. But then you don't need to add another S after guys. Which is secret. Boys corner. So you can see the apostrophe is added at the end of the word, the noun word, but then there's no S coming after the apostrophe. If you remember, that was what I said earlier, that it is not in all cases that you have an apostrophe and an S, okay, to show possession. Plural irregular nouns. Irregular nouns are nouns which change their spellings partially or completely in their plural forms. For instance, you have child changing to children, where the child is the singular form of children. Children is the plural form of child. You have man, men, tooth, teeth. Okay? In this case, the apostrophe is placed before the possession s. Before the s that indicates or signifies possession. Look at that. The children's room is dirty. The children's room is dirty. Mary wore men's clothes to her farm. Mary wore men's clothes to her farm. So you can see, just like you have in the singular noun discussed earlier, the same thing is happening to a plural irregular noun. Okay, children doesn't end with an s. So you add the apostrophe and then the s. Likewise, men, you include the apostrophe and then you have the s coming after the apostrophe. Nouns with s ending. There are nouns that have s as their last letter. It has been controversial how to show possession for such words. Sometimes the apostrophe is used without another s after it. Sometimes s is not used after the apostrophe. Okay, let us look at these examples. Cactus. You see, that is a word ending with an s. Bus, the same thing. Glass, boss, and Jones. All of these words end with the s. Now, in this case, just make sure you pick a style and be consistent as you use it in a particular work. You may choose bus, where you will add the apostrophe and then s, or you just include the apostrophe without the s. In which case, bus with the apostrophe and s becomes buses. Okay? My boss's wife, my boss's children. Okay? You can say it that way, or you can write it this way in order to signify that you are actually referring to your boss, a singular noun, but then it ends with an s. That is why it is written that way. One other way we use the apostrophe is in forming contractions. Okay, contractions from the word, something about reducing, reduction, or something like that. Okay, it is used to indicate omission of a letter or letters in order to bring two words together to appear like one. Such formations are called contraction. The two words joined by using the apostrophe are called contracted forms. You have several examples, and here are a few. It is could be written as it's. Okay, with the apostrophe coming in between it and s. Get the understanding that if you remove the s there, the meaning will be different, especially in this very case of it. Okay, but then we're going to see that later in this same discussion. He is, his. He's my friend. He's my friend. You are contracting he and is. There is something in the box. There's something in the box. See how you can put the words the there and is together using the apostrophe. They have many houses. Look at that. You can say Or let's use this example. They have gone home. See, they've gone home. They've gone home. Okay? Cannot, can't, does not, doesn't. He does not like to play in the rain. He doesn't like to play in the rain. So doesn't is the contracted form of does not, just as can't is the contracted form of cannot. There are things to note about the apostrophe. Where two people possess one thing, only the second name will take the apostrophe and S. For instance, Jacob and Joseph's home is by the left. Jacob and Joseph's home is by the left. We are not talking about two homes here. We're talking about just one home that is for Jacob and Joseph. If the possession is separate, then the two will take the apostrophe and S. Okay? Juliet and Aziz's shoes are black. Juliet's and Aziz's shoes are black. That is, you're talking about Juliet's shoes and Aziz's shoes. Here are other things to note. Possessive pronouns should not use apostrophe. Again, possessive pronouns should not use apostrophe. This error is always made. People are tempted to use the apostrophe along with some of these words that are possessive pronouns. The key is hers. Hers, of course, indicates possession, that you don't need to include the apostrophe before the S. Whose book is this? Whose, you might be tempted to write who apostrophe S. That is not correct. The correct thing is to write whose in this way, W-H-O-S-E. Whose book is this? Its leg is broken. Its leg is broken. If you should use the apostrophe between it and S here, you'll be saying its leg is broken, and that will be far from being grammatical. Okay? The pronoun oneself should not take an apostrophe. Oneself. You write the two, one and self, the two words one and self as one word. Do not write one, apostrophe, S, and then self separately. No. Lying is insulting of oneself. Lying is insulting of oneself. That is just how to write it. Nouns ending with Y can be confusing, so you have to be very careful. Sometimes you'll be tempted to change that Y to IES, which is going to give you the plural form. My company's record is good. So do not be tempted to change the Y in company to IES. You allow the Y to be there because here you are referring to, you are trying to show possession, not, and you don't intend to use the plural form. Okay, so my company's record is good. Since you are referring to just one company, you allow the Y to be there, and then the S comes after the apostrophe. Plurals for letters and numerals. When we want to form the plural of a letter or a number, we must or we may use the apostrophe. This is done in order to avoid confusion. Basically, that is what it is for, to avoid confusion. Let us look at these examples. Her A's and U's look the same. Imagine, if you won't use A's and U's, you won't write it in this way, you could be writing her as and us look the same. And of course, that will be telling something completely different from what you intend to say. And that is why you are forced to use the apostrophe. Okay, so the apostrophe here is not showing possession. It's actually showing plurality, but then it is because if you avoid it, if you don't use the apostrophe, it will be something else. So you are doing this to avoid confusion. So you see that the apostrophe is very important. It's not just about showing possession. Here is one other way you will need to use it. Arrange the pens in 2s and 3s. Look at that, in 2s and 3s. Even though some people may be comfortable leaving out the apostrophe in this case where the number is spelled, okay, or even if the number is written in its actual figure, in that case it will even be more comfortable to leave out the apostrophe. But this is the better way to write something like this. The apostrophe may not be necessary if the numbers are in figure. We went into the interview room in 2s. Okay? We went into the interview room in 2s. Do not do the following. Do not use the apostrophe to make irregular noun pronoun. Do not use the apostrophe to make or to form a regular noun pronoun. You have to know exactly what regular noun pronoun is. Look at that. It's wrong for you to say, or to write it this way, chairs are needed for the visitors. Chairs are needed for the visitors. We talked about regular noun earlier, so this is a regular noun, a word, a noun that takes an S whenever its plural form is to be written. Okay, like cheer, cheers. So you should not use an apostrophe when you are writing a regular noun or the plural form of a regular noun, like cheer. So you do not say cheers are needed for the visitors and write the cheers in this manner. Do not use the apostrophe to make a plural name. Also, it's wrong for you to say or to write it this way, the Jones are here. No, the Jones are here. That is not correct. But the correct one, the Jones are here, where the apostrophe comes after the S, because you are talking about the name Jones. Already the name has an S. The Jones are here. The Joneses' house is in chaos. The Joneses' house is in chaos. Thank you for being around. Let's meet again in another class. You can ask any questions through this email. And of course, you should also submit your answers through the same email. You can leave a comment at the end of this slide. When you go down from the video you're watching, if you go down after some other videos perhaps that may be present there, go down, you will see a section where you are permitted to leave a comment. So you can write a comment there. If you have a question, you can ask it there too. Okay, and I will check it and I will respond as needed. Thank you.